The 831st edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost, the bank account built for bettors. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN and get a $25 deposit match.
Hello, Degenerinos. Welcome to episode 831 of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, dedicated to, let's give it to H-Town all day, 281, one of our friends in the old YouTube comment section. Thanks for coming to the show. I am Supremo Simplicio, Jeff Fox. Alongside me is Daniel Gumby, and we are covering some LFA. No more Road to UFC. We covered all 4 episodes for you. Hopefully you enjoyed those, and hopefully you enjoyed the fights. They kicked off this morning. If you missed them, get into your app and watch it on UFC Fight Pass. You just won't be able to bet on it after the fact, but hopefully maybe you had your bets in early. Hopefully today, like I said, is all about LFA 209. It's one of their Brazilian cards. So Gumby, give us a little breakdown of this here card. Thoughts on it?
Actually, quite a few names I wasn't super familiar with. One I was overly familiar with from the amount of Samurai Fight House we watched.
Yep.
Yeah,
and he's got a lot of belts.
Yeah, he's got like 31. He's won 31 belts before in Samurai Fight House. So, yeah, that's so I was really familiar with him. Also, do you know? So we're talking about Petruzzella, who is in the co-main event. Do you know he had a fight canceled just before this? Do you know what promotion he was supposed to fight for?
Oh, was it like Happy Elephant, or was it?
What if I told you it was a worse promotion than Happy Elephant?
I don't know if Happy Elephant's bad or not. Have you
It's
definitely ever watched
worse.
Happy Elephant?
I've watched fights from it. It's like the production isn't necessarily the greatest, but
he had a cancel bout in. Oh yeah, I see now. Of course, GFL.
He was supposed to fight for GFL, the short-lived GFL. By the way, when I saw he had a fight cancel, he was actually supposed to fight Lorenz Larkin.
Yes,
in GFL, which is crazy. And I looked up the owner of GFL. You know, he hasn't posted anything on Twitter or Instagram in over a month.
Yeah.
He's not even pretending anymore.
Nope.
Which I kind of appreciate.
Yeah, exactly.
The dog and pony show was probably bad for guys like this Petruzzella guy who's now fighting for probably far less money than he was promised at GFL. So
yeah.
And Holly Holm's out, and this one's out, and that one's out. Yeah, it seems like that promotion that nobody thought was real actually wasn't real.
Yeah, weird, eh?
Sick AI video for the draft, and maybe the worst, maybe the only song. First of all, I'm an unabashed fan of Face the Pain. I love Face the Pain. I think it's like one of the greatest songs in the history of mankind. But I recognize it is objectively a bad song. Still 30 times better than that song that GFL was playing at their draft repeatedly.
You actually watched the draft, which is
I didn't, but I watched it until they put up the results before it started.
Yeah, yes, they did.
When they put up the draft board, and I was like, oh, there's how it's gonna go, huh? I guess I don't need to watch this anymore. But then a lot of people sent me the video of their both the AI of like Tyron Woodley looking more yoked than he actually is with like body armor on, walking through a spaceship. It was, dude.
That's where all the money went.
People aren't gonna believe us when we talk about GFL like 10 years into the future. I don't think people will believe it.
No, I don't think we'll be talking about it, but maybe it'll be like it's the Fire Fest of MMA for sure.
I will.
Yeah, and the fighters pretending they didn't know that they were getting drafted, like Sage acting like, oh my god.
Sage Northcutt's reaction was so fake.
They already told you where you were going and when, but okay. Everyone watching knew where you're getting. Anyhow, this isn't a GFL episode. We were hoping to have at least one GFL episode.
0.
We're thinking maybe 2, but we don't. Didn't even get that, sadly. So we're going to Brazil instead, which is fine. LFA, reliable promotion that keeps pumping out good events. So speaking of pumping out good stuff, we pump out a lot of good merch, and we're having a merch store sale right now. So go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. At checkout, use promo code DEGENS. It's DEGENS. You get 20% off everything in the store, including all their new DEGENS line merch and all the MMA Gambling Podcast merch, which you can see us sporting on the episodes quite often. Like the hat I'm wearing. Actually, this is SGPN, but I wear a lot of MMA Gambling Podcast shirts as well. So check it out if you want to be cool like me. All right, LFA 209. Lara versus Henrique. You said a lot of fighters you weren't aware of, but there's a lot of familiar last names.
Yeah, a lot of familiar.
fighters.
Yeah, like the Brazilian last names you've come to know. But yeah, no, a lot of guys who I'd seen like once or twice, and then some I was like, man, I don't ever remember watching this guy fight, and then was quite pleased watching him fight. So
good.
Yeah, some good. This is a very strong, as all of their Brazilian cards are. It's a very strong card.
Awesome. We got Vieira's, we got Lopez's, we got Ribeiros,
Paivas.
We got multiple juniors, we got Santos's, multiple Santos's. It's crazy. Multiple Sousas, or maybe not multiple Sousas. The Silvas, yeah. All right, let's actually give you some picks now, or actually, well, let's lay the groundwork for you. LFA 209. I told you Lara versus Henrique. Cuiabá, Mato Grosso, Brazil. I've never heard of this place. Of all the MMA I've watched in Brazil, I've not heard. Have you heard of Cuiabá? Gumby?
I have not.
No.
I've heard of Kudalaba. That's the guy who like gets in people's faces at weigh-ins, right?
Turns green. Yes.
Yeah.
Gets mad, turns green. All right. This is a Saturday event. Going down in Brazil. It is taking place Saturday night, 5 p.m. Actually, it's usually the Brazil ones start later. This one is a 5 p.m. Eastern start time. We got 14 fights. We're going to break down the 5 that Gumby wants to break down and give you winning picks for. And then we'll have plenty to choose from for our lightning round. Malai Manso Resort is where it's taking place. If you want to go check it out, if you're in the area, I'm sure we have plenty of Brazilian listeners and or viewers. Let's break her down. It's on UFC Fight Pass, of course. I think I was always saying Aries was on there, but Aries is no longer on UFC Fight Pass, right? It was
I found that out the hard way.
Yeah. It used to be, and Tapology still thinks it is, but no, it is not. All right, we're starting off with a 170 bout. That will be welterweight. Reginaldo Jr. versus Gilberto Sousa. Perfect Brazilian names. 3 5-minute rounds. Break it down. Tell you about Sousa first. Cachorro Loco or Lauco. Do you know what his nickname is, Gumby?
No.
Mad Dog. And he's up against the Beast. So once again, nicknames are matching up here, which I approve of. All right. Sousa is 10-4, 8 knockouts. Loss over his last 3, 3-2 over his last 5. Used to fight at 155, 2015 pro MMA debut. An inch taller than Junior. Junior, as I said, is the Beast. 9-1, 3 knockouts, 4 submissions, never been finished in a fight. He's 3-1 in LFA. He's won 3 straight fights. He's not lost since March 2023. He's fight at 185, 1-0 as a pro kickboxer, 5 years younger than Sousa. No odds because Gumby thinks it's going to be too much of a squash match. People are worried with the lines yet.
It's funny. We picked the top 5 fights on the card, according to LFA's website and Tapology. They were actually in sync this time. And this is the only one I couldn't find odds for. And then I was like, oh, is it canceled or is it just so much of a squash match that the books don't want to offer? Then I watched the film because I actually was not familiar with Reginaldo Jr. despite being in the LFA for 3 fights. He must have been on the Brazilian prelims, which are harder to watch generally. So I wasn't super familiar with him. And then I watched the film and I'm like, oh, this is a squash match. And Junior, look, if Junior's any less than -1,000, I'd be shocked. Because like I watched Sousa, the guy is wildly uncomfortable on the feet, does not want to strike, wants to shoot a takedown so bad. And then like, because he's so one-dimensional, like he has trouble setting it up and getting to it. And then if you watch Reginaldo Jr., like he is a guy who moves forward very smartly. He cuts off the cage really, really well. I wrote in my notes, it's literally right here. I said, he's a surgeon when he gets you back to the cage. He puts your back to the cage and he just picks you apart from every opening you have. It looks like you're covering up your face a little bit. He works the body, kicks your leg, gets your hands down, and then picks you apart up top. Like he just is expert at finding every single little hole you leave and picking you apart. And then the funniest thing is that like you'll watch him pick this guy apart with his back against the cage. He'll shoot right in for a takedown. And you're like, what are you doing? But then he's pretty damn good on the mat too. If it was a close fight or, and he would like had a guy almost finish on the feet, I would be so mad at the way that this guy wrestles. But it's usually just that like he wants to show off that he's amazing everywhere. So like that wrestling actually gives me even less pause, right? Because I was like, Sousa only wants to wrestle. I think he's the worst of the two wrestlers in the fight. I think Junior's the better wrestler. And then on the feet, it is like they're not in the same ballpark. So yeah, Reginaldo Jr. -1,000.
Can't believe you're doing Mad Dog dirty like that, Gumby.
Sorry, Mad Dog. The only Mad Dog I recognize is Greg Maddox. So
it's true. How does he have 8 knockouts then if he's so bad on the feet, Gumby?
I don't know, man. Because I was watching the film in his last fight, and I was like, he looks uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know how this keeps working for you if you look as uncomfortable as you. I think Junior is going to pick him apart, man.
Maybe it's all ground and pound.
Yeah, it could be ground. That could be it. It could be a lot of ground and pound.
One of them's a retirement I saw, so there's one of them we can take off.
So that doesn't count as a knockout, really.
No. Yeah, but, who's to say? Well, we'll watch it though and see if it really is the slaughter that Gumby promises us.
All right, I hope I didn't find a different Gilberto Sousa.
That'd be great. Mad Dog's really good after all. All right, before we dive into more winning plays, to tell you about Edge Boost. Edge Boost is the first ever bet account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimums, earn cashback rewards, and 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN and deposit $25, and Edge Boost will match the deposit. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And it is now time for Gumby's bonus underdog pick and play. Underdog is going long for the NBA playoffs with their extender bonus. Hop in game 1, and the longer the series goes, the bigger the bonus gets. All right, what sport are we hopping into?
We're on Friday. That means game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals is on. And, I've been pretty impressed with Pascal Siakam this playoffs. He's been putting up some pretty decent numbers, particularly in the rebounds. He's been hovering between 6 and 8. Actually, you could probably use his points as well. Let's go with his projection on points plus rebounds. Because I'm going to guess that's probably coming in well below 30. And he's basically been flirting with 30 for the last couple of games. So give me the higher than on Pascal Siakam's points and rebounds.
All right. And unless you have a time machine, today's only Thursday, not Friday. So they'll have plenty of time to make this play. Sign up with the code MMA SGPN, and maybe you can buy your own time machine when you win. To claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits, underdogfantasy.com, promo code MMA SGPN. All right. You think the Pacers are going to get the job done, Gumpy?
I do. I do.
Think they'll beat them?
I think they look so damn good in their last series, whereas it looked not for, this is my amateur NBA breakdown, but in my opinion, the Knicks got the series given to them by the Celtics looking like schmucks and missing 3-pointers. And it looks like, the Pacers went in there and took it from the Cavs.
Stupid schmucks ripping their Achilles tendons, bunch of schmucks.
Yeah. Right? But even before that, they were on pace to lose that series. You can't blame that. Nope.
It's true. All right. We're going down to weight class. We're going to 155. Pablo Vieira, Carlos Cavalcante. They're all Brazilian with names like that. Let's break her down by talking about Cavalcante first. 10-1, 4 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been submitted once. He owes his rounds. There's 2 fights he only went the distance to. This is his debut in LFA. He's won 6 straight. The last 3 via finish. He has not lost since October 2018. Multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get the shirt. Get her gear, get her merch, sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. Remember, check out, your code is DEGENS, 20% off. Cavalcante plus 350. Vieira is Problema, 8-0, 5 knockouts, 3 submissions. He has finished everywhere, and he definitely owes his rounds here. 3-0 in LFA. Used to fight at 170. 3 years younger than Cavalcante, 3 inches taller. Mine is 600, so a couple squash matches to kick things off.
Yeah, and Vieira is a Problema. A mejor Problema. Although mejor means best, right?
That's fine. He's the best problem.
Yeah, he's the best. He's the best problem. Not a major problem. Mejor means best. But yeah, he's a huge problem. And the big reason is super powerful, with super technical jiu-jitsu. And on the feet, maybe his hands aren't as powerful as his takedowns and his clinch work is. But they play up. I think they're fine. And in terms of his takedowns and his jiu-jitsu, really nice back takes, really strong in top control, all of those types of things. And then if you watch Cavalcante, this guy is off balance pretty often. I think if you watch the film, one of his recent knockouts I was watching, it was not to disparage Francis Ngannou for a second, but
you be careful.
It looked like the Francis Ngannou punch where he knocked out Jair Zinho Rosenstrike, where you're like, well, that's not a good punch objectively. You know what I mean? And it worked for Francis because he weighs 265 pounds and was storming forward. And it worked for Cavalcante in this fight because the guy he was fighting was also wildly off balance. And so but is it going to work against the guy who's going to duck under that shot and power W and then just beat you up on the mat? Probably not. And like Vieira, I also want to give him credit for his jiu-jitsu skills, not just in terms of the positioning and stuff like that, but he pulled off an armbar in his last fight off of his back, and it only took him like 50 seconds to get there, and it was sharp. And against a pretty good opponent too, wasn't it? Was it Kevin Macon? I want to say it was, who's like a pretty good regional prospect, if I'm remembering right. So, Vieira, beast on the mat, smart in terms of everything he's doing. Not going to be fooled by Cavalcante striking. Give me Vieira.
Macon Kevin is what it says in Topology, so you're correct.
Yeah. Okay. Same guy.
Yep. All right. We are going to 125 now. That will be flyweights. Paulo da Silva versus Hugo Paiva. A couple of Brazilians. We'll tell you about da Silva first. PH is the nickname. He's 10-1 with 9 submissions. He's been knocked out once. He owes his rounds. That means this is his LFA debut. He's won 10 straight fights. So he dropped his pro MMA debut, which was February 2021. Has not lost since. He also has multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get our merch at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Degens is your checkout code. 5 years younger than Paiva, 2 inches taller, plus 135. Hey, it's not a squash match. Paiva, 9-2, 6 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been submitted once. He owes his rounds as well. 1-2 in the LFA. He's won 3 straight and 4 of 6. TKO win in his last bout. He's not lost since May 2023. He's a regional champ, or was a regional champ. He's fed at 135 minus 175.
I'm gonna go Paiva here. And a lot of this comes down to the level of competition and how he's looked against that competition. So you mentioned da Silva on a massive win streak. Mm-hmm. It's all like top game jiu-jitsu against guys who seem like they're not at his level. He's also Charles Oliveira's guy, so I think he's getting like smart fights set up for him. And then Paiva, on the other hand, he's been taking the most difficult fights he can find. In fact, he fought one of your favorint nicknames, Lippe Detanoa.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The lip lower upper.
The lip explosion. And in that fight, too, he looked pretty damn good. He got a little bit of his own wrestling going. He was scrambling with him. Ultimately, he lost that fight, but like, he looked really good against like a UFC level caliber opponent. And like, I like that about him. I also think that what will play up here for him is like, he's fighting a guy who very clearly like needs to get his jiu-jitsu and his ground game going. And he like, when he is standing, Paiva has some really gnarly leg kicks. Like he'll blow up your legs pretty fast. He goes low calf on him. He's gotten multiple opponents I've watched wobbling and looking like they can't get their legs underneath them. And I think that'll make da Silva's takedowns a little rougher. And even if like da Silva gets him down, like I said, the way that Paiva scrambled with Lippe Detona, I think he looked good enough. That's Felipe Dos Santos, for those of you who don't know. I don't mean to keep using coded language. But yeah, for those of you who don't know crazy nicknames of UFC fighters, yeah, that's Felipe Dos Santos. But like, if he can scramble with Felipe Dos Santos and hang with him in that right, I think he should be able to hang with da Silva. So give me Paiva, getting back up, ripping the legs, getting his own game going.
If you're a fan of this show, you know who that is, because this is the nickname and pronunciation podcast for MMA. That is what we're known for. All right, we're to our co-main event already. Joseilton Santos Carlos Petruzzella, the aforementioned. So he is from Argentina, fighting the Brazilian. We'll tell you about Santos first. Mazzola is the nickname. I guess he likes corn oil or something. 10-0, 4 knockouts, 2 submissions. This is his debut. He's won 2 straight via TKO. He is a regional champ. He's fed at 155, 1-0 as a pro grappler, plus 145. Petruzzella, Tito Petruzzella. You can call him Tito. 13-0, 6 knockouts, 7 submissions. So he's finished everyone. He owes his rounds. This is his debut as well. As we mentioned, he has multiple Samurai Fight House championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get our gear, get our merch, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Your code DEGENS, DGENS. He's fed at 185, 5 inches of height over Santos, minus 175.
I'm going Santos. I'm picking against Samurai Fight House. In some of it is I don't like the level of competition Petruzzella has fought. And that's not shade on Samurai Fight House. They regularly have high-level fighters in there. We've seen some really good fighters come to the UFC from there, right? What was Kevin Vieira from there? Yeah, and like they have good fighters. The problem is the fighters he was fighting are not them. Like I watched one of his fights. I think it's his most recent fight. He either defended his title or won his 9th title or whatever it was. And he fought a guy who was 4-0. And like the guy threw like a capoeira kick, like a spinning heel capoeira kick. And, Petruzzella moved out of range. And then he moved forward and tried to throw his own kind of crazy kick. And he didn't hit the guy, but the guy still fell down. Like he just like ran into him with his body and they both fell down. And then he was just in top control the whole time. And I'm like, that can't possibly happen in LFA, especially not an LFA co-main event. And then like I went back and watched some of his other fights, and it's not that he lucks into all these positions, but like what he's doing, I don't believe will work on somebody like Joseilton Santos. And Santos, look, he's a little sloppy in his own right. I'm not going to say he's flawless on the feet, but he throws big, hard hooks that if this guy comes forward and expects him to just like flop over when he runs into him, he's going to run into a right hand. And I think that's big with Joseilton. And then in addition to that too, Santos has got some body lock takedowns I like. He's not necessarily as consistent with them, but like if you do clash into the clinch with him, as like maybe he will with Petruzzella, if that guy doesn't, refuses to take a step back, I think Santos could get him down too. As much as Petruzella's look good in top control, again, the level of competition to me just like screams like this is a chance for him to fight somebody really tough. I wouldn't have given Petruzzella much of a chance against Lorenz Larkin for the record. As old as Lorenz is or past his prime, he still looks good enough that he'd have knocked him out. And I think Santos has got enough of that power punching and a little bit of wrestling that I think should beat him too. So give me the dog here, Santos.
All right. Santos is the pick. Before we dive into the main event and our lightning round, let me tell you about Rhythm, RITHMM. Rhythm is your home for AI-backed picks and props. Dominate the NBA playoffs, PGA, MLB, and just launched the WNBA. Rhythm knows you love it. That's why they include a 7-day free trial. Check out all the Dante DiVincenzo's projections there. And Rhythm has some amazing deals going on right now as well. 25% off your monthly subscription with promo code SGPN25 and 50% off an annual subscription with promo code SGPN50. So that's RITHMM, promo codes SGPN25 or SGPN50. And you get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpockets.com/rhythm, RITHMM. And Circa's Ultimate Fantasy Football giveaway is on as we speak. Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas is giving away the ultimate fantasy football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Vegas and be treated like VIPs for their stay. The winner will receive a 2-night stay at Circa Resort and Casino for their entire 12-person league. That's 6 Double King rooms. They get to hold their draft at a cabana at Stadium Swim with a $5,000 food and beverage credit, limo transportation to and from the airport, a welcome party at Legacy Club for the league, a reservation at the world's largest sports book with $500 beverage credit for the league, a 2-hour open bar package for the league at Overhang Bar. So as I said, the contest is on now and it ends June the 30th. You can enter by going to sportsgamblingpockets.com/circa. That would be sportsgamblingpockets.com/CIRCA. And we are brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the NBA playoffs. For the true degens, the MyBookie money bag. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, easy deposits, and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Check out the Dante DiVincenzo and LFA lines there. And when you do head to MyBookie.ag, use our promo code MMASGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's MyBookie.ag, promo code MMASGPN. All right, main event time. No belt on the line, just pride. Inglesson de Lara versus Bruno Henrique. They're fighting at 145. That would be featherweight, and they're fighting 3 5-minute rounds. I will tell you about Henrique first. Zinoco is the nickname. Zinoco. 18-4, 9 knockouts, 5 submissions. He's been submitted once. He's a durable guy. This is his LFA debut. Steps right into the main event. So he must be a good fighter. He's won 7 straight. He's not lost since September 2016. That is a long time ago. He's a regional champ was a regional champ as well. Used to fight at 155, 2013 pro MMA debut plus 260. De Lara 10-1 with 6 knockouts. He's never been finished in a fight. 1-0 in LFA. He's won 4 straight. TKO win in his last bout. He's not lost since May 2023. Used to fight at 155. A year younger than Henrique, an inch taller, minus 320.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with De Lara. I am gonna pump the brakes on that line though, because like I think he's better than Henrique. Like if you watch him strike, he does a lot better from range. He's definitely craftier in the way that he closes range too, or at least gets you to the range he wants. Lots of feints, lots of good lateral movement that backs you to the cage where he needs you to be. And like he's got good combinations, closes the range, gets out of the range. Henrique is like a little bit more. His strikes seem like they come up a little bit short, or at least have in the past. He's also not doing the things he needs to establish his own range. He's going to move where you want him to move. And he's got power, so that's probably why he's done it in the past. But like I'd worry that that's not going to hold up. Like I think he's a really sharp striker if you strike with him at his range. I think Lara won't. And like that's why I like him. But like if Lara were to make a mistake and be in range, like you wouldn't want to be holding a Lara ticket or hinging your parlay on a negative 320 guy against the guy who I think like if in establishing his own range will be fine. If not, like could potentially be in danger. Lara is also really good at defending takedowns. I don't think Henrique's going with any of them. Like I really like his counters. He digs underhooks and actually turns the position into his own top game. I don't think we'll see that from Henrique, and I don't think we'll see that from Lara. But at least worth mentioning here that like if this does have a grappling element to it, I think Lara will also be comfortable. So give me Lara with a slight hesitation on that line.
All right, recap, but don't you go away. We got some bonus round plays for you. He's got Lara, he's got Santos, he has got Paiva, he's got Vieira, he's got Junior. Hopefully you find the right person by those last names because there's probably multiple of all those last names on this fight card. All right, lightning round. Zap, bam, boom, pow. What you got for us, Gumby?
So I might need to enlist in a little bit of your help here because when I broke down, I picked my lightning round picks and there were no odds when I picked my lightning round picks. So if I'm about to give you a bunch of really sour favorites, I apologize. The first one I'm going to take is Elisa Bertolo. Or Bertolso, rather. There's an S at the end there. Bertolso. She's like a super important prospect in Brazil right now. I think she's 5-0, but like a big long AMI career. Looked dominant in all of her fights. I'd expect her to be a favorite here. Hopefully something remotely playable.
Minus 2,000.
Minus 2,000?
Yeah.
Ooh,
I'm pissing all over Gumby's.
Hang on, I might have to find you guys another lightning round play after that one because like I can't give away a negative 2,000 play with like a
I can read you out some lines if you want that are actually playable because there's a lot of huge lines here.
No. Let me give you another one that I had copied down. I also got Rodrigo Vera. Is there a line on Rodrigo Vera yet?
Let me find here.
Well, while you're looking, I'm going to tell you why I like him. First of all,
there's a line.
I like him because
1,000.
1,000 on him?
Yep.
He's a fun striker. All right, I'm going to tell you anyway about him because I like him. He's a fun striker with good hands. He's got a great nickname. It's El Gato Loco. Can you translate?
The crazy. What's gato? Alligator.
No, it's cat.
The crazy cat.
The crazy cat.
Nice.
So
I like it.
Yeah, I like him. He's another Peruvian dude who I think is up and comer. Even though he's got 20 pro fights. All right, who else do I like on this card? Now I feel terrible.
Hey, maybe the lines will.
How about Abraham Racho? Is he playable? He might even be an underdog in that fight.
Abraham
Racho, Racho.
Racho. No line for that, so we can pretend that he's gonna be a dog.
So I'll take Eduardo Racho then as the only one who's remotely playable. He's another Peruvian guy. He's only 3-1. He lost his LFA debut to Eduardo Dutra, who I think is a really nice prospect too. So it might pull people's perspective down on him, but not really of mine. He's fighting a 4-0 Brazilian guy who I think he's got a lot of advantages of. Really good submission skills, good guillotine. He takes the back really well. I think he's a Diego Lima shoot the box guy too, which makes me like him. So let's go with Racho as my along with Bertoso and Vera, but we'll make those my lightning round plays.
Throw them all in a parlay, right? And then you'll be okay.
Don't throw a negative 2,000 person in a parlay. It doesn't change the number.
No, it really doesn't, does it? All right, you're all set for LFA 209. We shall be watching it and discussing it in our Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. You can chat with us on the old YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. That would help us out. Thank you. MMA Gambling Podcast, of course, on YouTube. SGPN MMA. Gumby runs that for us on the old Twitter X. He's at Gumby Real, and I'm at Jeff Fox Writer. Same as on Instagram for me, Jeff Fox Writer. Check out my Substack at moneymma.substack.com. Check out Gumby's Top Turtle MMA podcast. He's got a couple of interesting people on this week, as he always does. Tell the people who.
Yeah, Lawrence Louis, who is fighting on Friday's Road to the UFC. And then also Kurt Hollabaugh, who's fighting at UFC Vegas 107 next week.
So check it out, Top Turtle MMA. And of course, we are at sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Degens is your code, 20% off, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon to get your bonus content. We're going to take a couple of days off and then we'll kick things back up in high gear on Sunday. Gumby will bid you farewell now.
All right, I'm dating Gumby Freeland. He's Lippe Detona, Jeff Fox, and we We'll see you on Sunday.